Let me ask you something. How is it that you paid rent on time for the past 3 years, 5 years, or maybe your whole life, and then the bank says you still can't afford a house? Now, I'm not quite sure, how this makes sense in their eyes, because to me, if I'm able to afford my housing costs, which has steadily been increasing year over year, then obviously I would be able to afford a mortgage, especially where the mortgage prices have risen, which is almost equivalent to where rent is, which in the past it used to be the opposite. Now, as of this year, things have changed, and I just want to talk about it just a little bit because now your rent can help you qualify for a mortgage. As of July 2025, the Federal Housing Financing Agency has now approved the use of the VantageScore 4.0 for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac backed loans, which is nearly 70% of all American mortgages in the United States. Now, I guess you're probably asking me, Chris, why does that matter? Well, it matters because for the first time, the rent that you've been paying, like I said earlier, the last 3 years, 5 years on time, because you can't have any delinquency as far as paying your rent on time, within the last 12 months to qualify, it actually counts towards your credit score when purchasing a new home. Now, this is something that's going to open the door for millions of Americans across the United States. And I just want to continue to let people know that the opportunity is now here if you have, no credit and things like that. And if you're not sure exactly what's changed, keep watching till the end, because this could really be a game changer if you're a first-time home buyer, especially if you've been renting over the past 12 months. You could potentially be already mortgage ready and not even know it. Now, this just isn't some type of loophole. It's a game-changing policy, but only if you know how to use it. Now, if you're still sitting on the sidelines after watching this video, it's not really the market, it's just you. Let's get started. Kind of think of the Vantage 4.0 scoring system as a new way to kind of judge your financial responsibility, but one that's more fair for renters and people who really don't use credit cards as much. Most credit scores, like FICO, only really look at your current credit balances and payment history for loans and credit cards. However, on the flip side, the VantageScore 4.0 does something a little bit different. Now it's going to count rent, electric, potentially your phone bill payments. So if you've been paying those on time, you're finally getting credit for it. It also looks at your financial habits over time, not just a snapshot. That means it rewards consistency and not just one-time good behavior like it did in the past. Now, it makes it easier for people without traditional credit cards or car loans to qualify for things like a mortgage. So that's why this is going to be a game changer and potentially open the door for millions of people looking to own a home in today's market. So I guess if you looked at this kind of like going to school, FICO only really is going to grade you on your final exam score, whatever that might end up being, while the VantageScore 4.0 is going to look at your overall grade for the semester. It's going to include your homework, your attendance, participation in class, things of that nature, which is going to allow renters the opportunity to finally qualify for the mortgage they deserve by paying their bills over time responsibly. Now, isn't that kind of a game changer? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Do you think this new rule gives renters the credit they deserve, or do you think it's too risky for the market? Again, drop a comment below. Let's talk about this a little bit. For years, renters have been kind of locked out of the housing market, not because they're irresponsible, more so because the scoring system has kind of ignored how they live. A lot of people don't use credit cards. If they do, some people just use them, sparingly, not on a regular basis. Now, this particular policy includes rent, which is an awesome thing because now it's actually recognizing people paying their rent on a consistent basis, which is kind of the real measure of financial responsibility. Keeping the housing costs up year over year without any type of delinquencies, which means you really won't need a credit card to buy a house or, debt to prove responsibility. You just need kind of consistent payments, which could be a lifeline for first-time home buyers or people living below their means but kind of getting left behind. That's why this is a game changer. I want to let people know that there's another option, to get into the housing market other than the traditional way. So keep keep in mind, this is kind of not the end of the conversation, it's kind of the start. The question is, will you take advantage of it before the window closes? Because, who knows how long this policy is going to stand. But like I said before, this area is still really growing, so you may want to do your research, or if this is your first time to the channel, subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market of the Tri-Cities of Northeast Tennessee. Again, my name is Christopher, and we help families just like yours. So if you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, simply give us a call, text, or email, and we'll be more than happy to help you make that transition. So let me give you a fair warning before we get into the initial steps of the process. Not all lenders are ready to implement the Vantage scoring system. They may even try to take advantage of you by giving you a higher rate because you're new to the game. So it's critical that you work with a strong team that's going to be able to guide you along the way. Now, first, you want to get proof of payments. That could be canceled checks, bank statements, a letter from your leasing company, or a letter from your landlord stating that you have made 12 consistent payments and none of them late. Obviously, you want to call around and do your due diligence and identify which lenders have already implemented the Vantage scoring system, because not all lenders are ready to handle this type of scoring system yet. I believe Rocket Mortgage is a national brand. I believe they're offering $5,000 in credits towards your closing costs, which is great because it's going to kind of help offset the money that you had reserved for your down payment, kind of assist you from squeezing from the base, if you will, like my buddy Jared would say, or more so like squeezing the quarter to the eagle screens. So that's a great thing. So you definitely want to call around and see what's going to be the best option for you. As this continues to grow, more credits and more opportunities may be available. So you want to make sure that you kind of compare and contrast what's going to be best for your situation. Now, definitely, this is a no-brainer, but you want to get pre-approval and ensure that your credit history is being added into your credit profile. From there, you want to do your due diligence and choose a realtor. I'm not quite sure what your situation may be at that point, if approved. If you're looking for new construction, or maybe if you're looking for a pre-existing home. With the rates where they're at right now and houses sitting on market, I would go with looking at houses 60 plus days. Then you want to do your negotiation with the seller's agent, see if you can get some other credits in addition to your closing credit that you may potentially get from the lender. Try to get all the credits you can to ensure that you're getting the best deal possible, so you can continue to maintain that housing rate that you've been currently paying for somebody else, which is now going to be yours. And I know if you read the headlines, they're saying wait to buy, prices may drop. But if you're renting, the one true thing that we all know about rent is it's probably going to continue to go up every year, regardless if they do any more maintenance or upgrades or anything like that. So, kind of the best deal right now is kind of any deal that you can get your hands on that's going to fit your financial situation. So if you're one that's been renting, waiting, and wondering if home ownership was even possible, I would definitely take a look into this and kind of see what's it all about. We are working on some type of blueprint, so if you're interested in that, we'll be able to email you that blueprint, kind of step-by-step guide to kind of follow to get you on the right path to home ownership. But if you enjoyed this video, you thought it brought some clarity, or just sparked a thought that made you want to look into this, if you've been on the fence with home ownership, you've been renting for a while, making consistent payments, drop a comment, give us a call, text, or email, and we'll be happy to walk you through this process or just have a conversation. But until next time, hope to see you around town.